would like to welcome Shane to Turkey first and to the panel first. Maybe you can start with introducing yourself a little and then talk about what UNICEF's involvement is in blockchain.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for the welcome. First time in Turkey. Great to be here today. So my name is Shane O'Connor. I work as an innovation manager in UNICEF's Office of Innovation. I often find at events like this, it's good to talk about why UNICEF is here. So hopefully most of you have heard of UNICEF and are somewhat aware of our mandate and what we aim to do, which is like we're a UN organization with a mandate to work to improve the outcome for children all around the world. So every child, everywhere. That doesn't always make sense as to why we're involved in blockchain events, why we're involved in AI events and technology. But when you think about it, these technologies have huge impact on children and also have huge potential for positive outcomes for children. And that is what Office of Innovation is there to do. So UNICEF works in 190 countries all around the world, and UNICEF is very much a country office up organization. So UNICEF would work in countries like Turkey with different programmatic approaches. So education, children's health, social protection, and child protection as well. And that's carried out all around the world. But Office of Innovation, where I work, our aim is to really look, source, find new technologies, innovative projects, platforms, and see if they can be brought to bear on UNICEF's programming to kind of improve the programming and also try and improve the outcomes for children. So we can use blockchain to do that.
Great to hear that, actually, and I'm really excited to hear that because I'm sure most of the people know about UNICEF in this room, but I didn't actually know before I was coming to this panel that they're involved in blockchain side too. So it's interesting and really exciting to hear that. And when you're dealing with the blockchain in this environment, what were the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So UNICEF is, again, I mentioned a UN agency. So we have a particular, structure and approach, and it can be seen to be bureaucratic sometimes. What we've done in the Office of Innovation is we've actually set up a venture fund to invest in these kind of startup frontier technologies to bring them to bear on UNICEF's programming. UNICEF has been, through the Office of Innovation, we've been looking at blockchain technologies since 2014, initially just kind of for our own internal understanding, but more and more we've brought them to bear on our programmatic activities. And in 2019, UNICEF established a crypto fund. So UNICEF is actually was the first, and I think is still the only UN agency that is able to accept, hold, and disperse cryptocurrencies. And we do that to support our programs. So through the venture fund, through the crypto fund, we've been able to kind of natively engage with blockchain companies, with blockchain technology, and invest in them and bring them through a whole process of us getting to know them and them getting to know us through a kind of a year-long mentoring process, and really sort of tailoring their solutions to be able to be more effective in UNICEF. Some of the challenges are for UNICEF, blockchain can be scary. For a 75-year-old organization that is, almost completely focused on kind of let's call it a traditional approach to programmatic interventions. I often tell people that Office of Innovation represents 0.05% of UNICEF staff around the world. So part of our role is to kind of overcome those internal challenges around knowledge, around experience, and try and have people see that behind the hype, the underlying technology can be very, very beneficial to some of UNICEF's work.
Great to hear that. And I think these are the challenges, but they are somehow helping you to scale it up also. And I'm sure you're going to increase that percentage of people who know about it and in a very soon future, I think. So any other tools that you use to sustain, to ensure the sustainability for these projects, other than you mentioned mentoring maybe, but anything else, and how do you think they will be sustainable for the future too?
Yeah, so it's sustainability has, like, depending on who you're talking to, has different meanings, right? Sustainability for a startup. Prior to joining UNICEF, I was like a co-founder of a startup, a mobile financial services startup. So that's, you know, back in the distant past. But sustainability for a company, for a startup, means your bottom line, being able to stay in business, to be able to do your good work. And for us in the venture fund in UNICEF, sustainability of the business is also hugely important. So through our kind of year-long mentoring process, there is an aspect of mentoring the companies, the technologies around open source. We only invest in open source technology. There's mentoring around the particular technologies that they have, but there's also mentoring around their business model and how they maintain sustainability, how they keep the lights on. So we would initially invest in your company or your product or your platform because we see the value in it for UNICEF's programming. But we need to see a business case. We need to help you and your company have that business to keep going, because there's no point in us investing in a company that isn't able to, like, have their own sustainability going forward. They can't rely just on UNICEF to keep them going. And what we've seen over the life of UNICEF's venture fund is we've seen substantial follow-on funding for our companies, several exits from the fund, several companies have been acquired as well. So by most metrics, it's pretty successful in terms of that sort of financial business sustainability. In terms of, like, sustainability with UNICEF country programs, what we do as we bring your company along through the process, we try and identify UNICEF countries that have similar problems to the particular skill set or advantages that your company might have. So I think of a company called Statwig, which is a blockchain-based supply chain company. So maybe not everyone knows, but UNICEF is the biggest procurer and supplier of vaccines in the world. We have a huge vaccine distribution center in Copenhagen. And we, as a venture fund, identified that blockchain-based tracking systems can be of huge advantage to our supply chain for vaccines. So we invested in this company, Statwig, probably 2.5 years ago. They went through the fund period, and they're now contracted by UNICEF Bangladesh to support their vaccine program, which is huge. And that's in partnership with the government of Bangladesh as well.
That's one of the most useful use cases, I believe, in that field. So, wow, great work. And when we're looking ahead, what collaborative opportunities and future innovations do you foresee in the blockchain-powered humanitarian aid, and how can the global community come together to further advance these initiatives? What is your opinion on those?
Okay, yeah, there's lots that we can talk about here. What I would say is I'd like to talk a little bit about an example that we have from one of our fund companies. Again, it's a company excuse me, called Rumsan. They deliver a blockchain-based cash and voucher assistance platform. So one of the main areas that UNICEF delivers social protection programming in is in cash transfer programs. So you've maybe heard of UNHCR has done a small cash transfer program with Ukraine in the last year, I think. And we have invested in this company, Rumsan, who delivered a pilot program for their platform with UNICEF Nepal. So using a blockchain-based platform, they delivered financial aid to 1,900 households in a rural Palika in Nepal. This was done as an exploration for the Nepal country office. And it was really testing out the efficiency and speed kind of to delivery of a blockchain-based platform. Because oftentimes UNICEF will be delivering a cash transfer program, but it takes so long to set up. You're working with multiple partners, financial service providers, government. It takes a long time, can take a long time to set up. I personally have been involved in cash transfer programs that are responding to sudden impact incidents, landslides, earthquakes, and it can take weeks, months for people to get their money, and they've already moved on. So what we did in Nepal was test this platform to see how quickly it could be stood up and to see its traceability, excuse me, and its auditability as well. And the outcomes were hugely positive. So we see that as a huge area of opportunity, and I know we've spoken a little bit about opportunities for cash transfer programming in countries around this region. UNICEF, in terms of cash transfer, I think last year we delivered $600 million worth of aid directly through cash transfer programming. So that's from UNICEF directly to beneficiaries or to our clients. I'm very confident there are definitely efficiencies that we can make in that number using blockchain-based initiatives and crypto as well, because that's a big number. We know that we can make savings there. In terms of collaborations with the wider community, so like I would put a call out to everyone here. So if you believe in UNICEF's mandate, if you believe in blockchain, if you believe in crypto, come join us, help us build the technologies that we're trying to build. Look up UNICEF Innovation. And if you happen to have some crypto lying around, we have a crypto fund that accepts donations. So we could also look at collaboration in that regard as well. And yeah, we're always looking to meet with people to get inspired by new ideas and new technologies in the space, because it can be difficult for us to reach out and find ways to do things in a new way for UNICEF. I often kind of say that our role in the Office of Innovation is for UNICEF at least, is to look outward and forward. So look out at what's happening in private sector, excuse me, and look at what can support UNICEF down the road. Yeah, so I'll be here for the next couple of days if anyone wants to talk to me about it.
I hope we will build it all together, let's say.
Yes.
Okay, if we have a little bit of time, if you would like to take any questions,
Sure.
If there's any questions, we can just ask to the audience, maybe. If not, then we can thank you for your contribution, Shane.
Thank you very much.